Hey, it's Mark Quimby with Warrior Works. Going to do a quick review of the CMMG RipBrace using a Law side folding stock adapter on a CMMG Banshee 9mm. So this is what you get with the CMMG RipBrace. It's the SB tactical brace that we're used to seeing with the QD Sling attachment port, and then the Velcro strap if you wanted to use this around your forearm like an actual brace. The end plate, if you're so inclined to use it, a set screw to set where you want it to rip out and stop, a buffer and spring, and then the buffer tube with the angled slots and the threaded holes for your set screw, and also the nut. Really all you need to put it together or install it on your rifle is a wrench for your nut here and an Allen key to set the depth that you want it to rip to. Setting the depth that you prefer it to stop at is really simple. All you need is a 9/64 Allen key. It does not come with one, but it's really easy just to grab one out of your toolkit if you're like me and you've done anything with guns before. You're gonna have one of these laying around. Set the depth you want to set. I actually like mine almost all the way out. You don't have to run the set screw. It's obviously gonna butt up to the end of this port here if it's not set, but I like mine just a little bit inside, and this is the perfect location for me. Once you've got that depth set, just take the stock and slide it over that point, and you'll feel the internals hit against that set screw. Lift up, come all the way over the back of those ports and that set screw, and then you can go all the way fully collapsed, and when you rip it, it's going to stop against that set screw, not letting you pull past that depth. If you want to collapse it, just as simple as pushing this up and going back to fully collapsed. One of the things I love about this Law tactical side folding stock adapter is it makes it incredibly easy to install and uninstall a stock. Now that's obviously something I'm not doing on a regular basis, but if for some reason even folded, the width of this was too wide to put in something you're using to transport it or conceal it, it makes it very easy just to pop this off. So if you have one of the AR wrenches with you and install and uninstall it, just put the detent in there like you would at the end of a receiver. Hold it down while you screw it on and get it just far enough past to hold that. I like to close it and kind of try to angle it in there, get it lined up with the grip. And I'm going to go ahead and just hand tighten this, getting it even, making sure that I'm trying to stay even with this grip and stock. Take AR tool here and give it a good torque. And I don't know what the specific torque specs are for this part. I've never had one back out for me. And just like that, it's installed, and we can rip it to its location, or if you wanted to use the button, you can. So really good QD sling point location there on this, but I still find that I'd rather use the one that's built into the grip. And one of the reasons for that is, and this isn't a detractor necessarily, but something to consider with a RipBrace, and I keep calling it stock, so forgive me ATF, big brother that's out there watching this. But you'll see if I put this QD sling point here, and let's imagine this is on my body. Well, it helps if I get it completely locked in there. This is on my body and I let it fall a little bit, then it's going to pull itself out to that ripped location, and I may or not want that there. And then also you see there's a little bit of play inside that angled port, and this gets a little annoying if you're walking with this slung, and that noise and that movement may not bother some, but if you're coming from a history where noise discipline's important, for me, if I'm running it with the Law, I just as soon run that sling attachment point at the bottom of the Law side folding stock adapter. And there it is.
CMMG sent me this RipBrace to review, specifically to see how it would run with the Law side folding stock adapter, knowing that I run them on my Banshee. At first glance, everything about this screams quality. The tolerances are tight like they should be. Nothing feels like cheap aluminum or cheap anodizing. Even the set screw seems like a high quality metal. This is kind of what I come to expect with CMMG stuff. Everything I've got my hands on from them has been exactly what it was advertised to be, if not better. It's a beautiful brace and it looks great on the pistol. It just seems right to have a CMMG brace on the Banshee. Even though there's lots of braces out there that are very high quality and work well with the CMMG, I really like the way this RipBrace integrates with the rest of the tool. It's very durable, banged it around a lot as I always do, and nothing happened. The only time anything moves on this when you might not want it to is where the two rubber pieces at the bottom of the brace meet. If you shoulder it really hard or you put it on the deck pretty hard, those things can come misaligned. It's an aesthetic thing really. It doesn't affect the performance or functionality. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, if you sling it from the brace itself, the weight of the weapon can pull it to its extended max. You may see that as a good thing or a detractor. It's just something to be aware of. While I know this video is supposed to be specific to the RipBrace itself, it's hard not to take a step back and appreciate just how awesome this Banshee really is. This is one of the original ones that came out, the MKGS Guard. It came originally with an 8-inch barrel, and I've purchased the 5-inch barrel because eventually I'm running a Silencer Co. Omega 9K on it, and I wanted to go ahead and mock it up. The handguard that comes on the Banshee has too small an internal diameter to fit a suppressor inside it, so I got an Aero Precision 7-inch rail that has over a 1.5-inch diameter. And then for now, I've mocked up the Silencer Co. Omega by running a KAW Precision 4.7-inch linear compensator. The whole thing comes together really well. And I haven't really noticed the increased girth, but I guess I should focus back on the brace. It runs great with the Law side folding stock adapter. There's really no issues with anything I've ran on this, and the RipBrace is no exception. It looks good, it's functional, and it does what it's supposed to do. I did think it's interesting that the first time you rip it out, you have to pull pretty hard. But once you've got that kind of worn in, I assume it's going to get smoother and smoother as it goes, which it sort of did that day. By the end of the day, pulling up on it with any amount of intentional force ripped it to its position, where the first few times I sort of felt like I was struggling and out of habit would hit the button like you would on any other brace or stock. Just as a comparison, I put it up against Sean's CMMG Banshee 9mm that's still running the Gearhead Works Tailhook Mod 2. The profiles are pretty similar, the function's pretty similar, and there's some pros and cons to both. The Mod 2 tailhook is definitely more rigid, especially in the shoulder, but it's also pretty cumbersome to try to adjust the length of pull on the fly. In conclusion, it's really hard to say anything super negative about the CMMG RipBrace. It may not be as rigid as the Gearhead Works Tailhook, whether it be the Mod 1 or Mod 2. Really, the Mod 2 is more of a direct comparison as it's collapsible. And certainly, the Mod 2 allows you to move to a specific position, It's more rigid in its functionality as a stock, at least in practice, which as of February 2019 is legal according to ATF. But it is also pretty cumbersome to get to that collapsible functionality. Nothing's going to be faster than the RipBrace, or its cousin, the RipStock, if you have a Form 1 for a short-barreled rifle, or you're looking something for a 16-inch plus weapon. I'd like to say thanks to the folks at CMMG for sending us this RipBrace. It's a great piece of equipment that I'm sure will float around to various weapons in the armory at Warrior Works. I'd also like to say thank you to those who are watching. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to try to pump out more and more good information, funny stuff, interesting stuff, and we're trying to up our game aesthetically, so please stick around. And as always, if you have a question or comment, leave it below. And if you have any requests for specific information, topics, or demonstrations, whether it be drills or digging into a specific weapon that you may have seen mentioned on our channel, please leave it below. You can find me on Facebook as well at Warrior Works Training. Until next time, stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel.